This is supper tonight, y'all. The Hillbilly Chicken Ranch Resourceful Cottage Pie. Yum, yum. Look at those bubbles. Wow. Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. We are in the Resourceful Homestead kitchen today, and we're baking up a comfort food just for you, my style. So, what are we doing? We're doing the Resourceful Cottage Pie with some added ingredients to the original recipe to make it your own. Let's get into the recipe. I'm going to share with you the ingredients. They will also be listed in the description box as an interactive video for you. Full recipe there. And I'm just going to walk through the steps with you today and show you the finished product. We have a secret ingredient, but if you don't have this ingredient, you can also substitute. So that is always a good thing with recipes. You will need 1 pound of ground beef, one medium diced onion, or you could use a tablespoon of the dry powder, or you could use 3 tablespoons of the minced flake. You can cut it back, or just do what you like. You're going to need 2 cloves of minced garlic, or 1/8 teaspoon of dry powder, or 1/4 teaspoon of the minced dry garlic. You will need 2 cups of mixed veggies. Mine are home canned, but they were frozen and I canned them for convenience. And you can use canned mixed vegetables, or you can go get a bag of frozen vegetables, whichever is your preference. 2 tablespoons of AP flour, 1 cup of beef broth. You can use 1 to 1.5 cups of beef broth, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I said it right, Worcestershire. You're going to top this with your homemade mashed potatoes using a 1/4 cup of milk and 2 tablespoons of butter, salt and pepper to taste. You're going to need an egg, and that's the secret ingredient today because I'm using a duck egg. And you're going to brush that over the top of your mashed potatoes. You can also add in aromatics like celery or bell peppers, and you would want at least a 1/2 cup of each of those, one or the other chopped, or you can do them all together and have the Trinity, the Holy Trinity for your cottage pie. You're going to bake this at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, but we're going to prep it first. And I've got my skillet heating with a little bit of butter because I like to add a little butter to my meat or a little oil in my skillet to get everything started. I'm going to be using instant mashed potatoes. I've got water in my pan heating up. My skillet is hot. We're going to start with 1 pound of ground beef. And I've made a mess all over my stove already, y'all. I'm also going to add in my celery that I had in the freezer. This is from our garden. And also from our garden is some chopped bell pepper. You can use any color bell pepper that you like. If you are going to use fresh onion and fresh garlic, you would need 2 cloves of garlic minced and 1 medium garlic chopped. I've already got my measurements in here. We're going to go ahead and add this into our skillet. And we're going to get this meat browned up. these vegetables softened up, and then we're going to add our chicken broth in just a moment. While I'm waiting on the ground beef and the vegetables to cook down, I'm going to add in some milk or cream. You can use either one. I actually pulled a little bit more than the half cup because we like a little bit of milk in our potatoes. And some butter, because butter makes everything better. And this is my home churned butter. We're going to let that get warm on us, and then we're going to add our potatoes in there. And I just eyeball the potatoes. I did pull out a measuring cup, but normally I just eyeball everything. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some cracked pepper in here, and then I will salt the potatoes towards the end of this. So I think about a half teaspoon is probably plenty. And I probably should have pulled out a bigger skillet, but I didn't, because I'm going to have to heat my vegetables up too and get them incorporated into this. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my home canned vegetables, and I need to drain the liquid off. So I've drained them, and they look pretty good. I thought I might need the spatula to get them out, but they actually came right on out. And into this skillet, while everything is cooking together, I'm going to go ahead and add in about a cup of my beef broth. I actually went over on the beef broth because I wasn't sure exactly how much I was going to need. And I'm going to add in my tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. So everything is in the skillet except for the flour. And I think what I'm going to do with that flour is I'm going to make a slurry and get that over this mixture while it's heating up. And use my leftover broth for that. And normally, you can also substitute this for cornstarch, by the way. But normally you would just sprinkle this over your meat, mix it in the meat, and then go for it that way, but I messed up. So I'm going to have a few clumps, but that's all right. It's just me and my husband eating tonight. And that's going to start to thicken up our broth. And we might have some miniature dumplings in there from that flour. And so that's going to give us a nice flavor. You're going to have a lot of aromatics in here from the onions, the garlic, the Worcestershire sauce, the beef broth, and of course the seasonings, the peppers and celery. So it's already thickening up, so I didn't mess up too bad. So I'm using a cup and a half. We're going to let this simmer in the skillet for a few minutes. I'm going to bring that temperature down. And I've got my mashed potatoes ready. I'm going to pull this off the heat. We'll be right back. All right. My butter's melted and everything is in there. The reason I didn't put salt in is sometimes instant mashed potatoes already have salt in them. But if you're using regular potatoes and cooking them up fresh, you probably will add your salt. So I'm going to see how many cups I need, because I don't really measure when I do my potatoes. And these will really soak up that extra liquid. So I'm thinking probably 2 cups is going to be plenty. Of course, if you have a larger family, you might want to add more potatoes, but it's just me and my husband. So yeah, they're thickening up. And if you find that they're too thick, you can add a little bit of milk or water to your potatoes, and you'll have a good potato topping. All right, everything is ready for me to assemble in my 9 by 13 casserole dish. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of this meat and vegetable mixture into my casserole dish. And we're going to get this spread out across the bottom of the dish. This is a great dish to make up if you have leftover mashed potatoes and you don't really know what to do with them. And it can be frozen as well. So you can make it into a freezer meal. So there is our meat in our dish. I'm just going to hold that up so you can see all the pretty colors in there of those vegetables. And now we're going to scoop our mashed potatoes onto our casserole. And I did add a little bit of water to them. They still need a little bit more, I think. So you just add the water in and get it to the consistency that you like. And I'm going to try to smooth it across the top just a bit. Now they don't have to be perfectly to the edge, but you do want to have them spread so everybody gets a little bit of the potato. I may go over that one more time with my fork, just to make sure that those ridges are showing through. I think that looks pretty good. Now, this is optional, but I have some dried parsley. You can use fresh parsley or dried, and it's really up to you as to when you're going to put it onto the top of your casserole. I'm going to do it prior to. I've got some big leaves in here, so they're going to have to be crushed up a little bit. But you just want to sprinkle this over the top, and that just adds just a little more layer of color to your final product. And plus, parsley is really good as a diuretic. It's good for your kidneys and your bladder. So we're going to go with that. So I probably used about a teaspoon or more of that. So here is our casserole getting ready to go into the oven, and we'll be back in about 20 to 25 minutes. You want your oven preheated to 400 degrees. Bake this for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, it's fresh out of the oven. You may want to let it sit for about 5 minutes so that bubbling calms down. I did put it under the broiler on low for about 3 to 5 minutes just to brown up those potatoes a little bit. But it looks so yummy. I'm going to hold it up to the camera for you. I think this is going to be delicious. So delicious. Look at that steam coming off. Oh, I think this is going to be a heavenly meal. Mm. Here's some content I think you might like. Thank you for visiting our homestead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hype, and share to help our small channel grow. See you next time for more simple living, frugal tips, and farmyard fun.